How's it going, everybody? There is now a planner for the Professor X saga, and I actually really like this planner. I know a lot of people are kind of down on it because it is not as good as the other planners we've had, but it definitely has helped me kind of shape what I'm trying to farm for in that X coin store and what I'm looking for in those orbs to try and balance my coins. And I guess when the Intel shop comes out, how I'm going to balance that Intel stuff to get Professor X unlocked as quickly as possible. So first things first, let's do a quick check on where I'm at in the Professor X saga. I've done nothing. I've cleared no Gear Tier 20 section because I, like a fool, thought that when they said this is going to be a saga like Professor X, I was going to be able to do sections out of order. Well, you can't. You have to do the city section, then the global villain, then the global hero, then the cosmic villain, then the cosmic hero. I put a bunch of pieces onto cosmic heroes and cosmic villains because they're the best characters in the game. And when Overpowered came out, it just made sense, especially for the Odin. When it came to like Arena and Crucible, and sure, I benefited from that 100%, but now it's starting to look like I may not even get City and the Global Villain done in time, and that's kind of a big deal because the red stars for Professor Xavier are on, like, you have to beat the chapters to get these, and since they made us do it in order, threw a huge wrench into my plans. So, planners definitely helped. I've been farming like crazy. Full disclosure, I've spent north of $50 on all the leaderboard events to try and make up for this, as well as $100 on 80 skill and mystic pieces. There was an offer, so I did that. So that has helped me a lot try and right this ship that Scopely, threw a frickin' tornado, wind, sea tornado. I don't know what those are called. Typhoons? That's not it. Anyway, what's my plans going forward? What characters am I bringing in light of Overpowered, but also in light of some of these nodes having hidden power benefits for your teams? Well, let's go over to the planner and let's talk about it. So this is the planner, guys, and you'll notice that because we have difficulties heroic and extreme, it's going to be changing between villains and heroes. That's just the way it's set up. I wish that it was just 5 traits on one page like it is for Dark Dimension 7 and below, but whatever. Alright, so for the city section. City section, I think, is pretty defined. Blade and Oath are absolutely amazing. These are mystic characters. I would have them both done already, if not for bringing up Odin, and that would have been fantastic. Then we have the new Vigilante team. This is non-negotiable. You have to bring Silver Sable, okay? The benefits that she gets in raids are absolutely insane, and yes, the Vigilante raid buffs are active, and no, you do not need to have the entire team. You just need to have that character in action. I think we saw this in like Kiln Tower before, where they just say, okay, it's going to bypass all the requirements, it's just active. Silver Sable is 100% necessary, and then I think you get to kind of pick. For what it's worth, I really, really like Punisher. Punisher is a 2-piece cost. He's also skill, of course. He's carrying the damage for my Vigilante team. I have the Vigilante team unlocked. I'm able to sim the raid nodes like it's absolutely nothing. And so I really like Daredevil. Punisher. I do not like Daredevil. Here we go. Daredevil or Hitmonkey? Who's the choice after that? A lot of people have gone through this section already with Daredevil. They say the Daredevil heals were awesome, this, that, and the other, and I don't agree. I've seen footage. I don't think they're very impactful. You know what would be more impactful? Hitmonkey replenishing your Silver Sable and your Punisher's energy every single time Punisher does his ultimate, erasing entire waves. Hitmonkey's energy regeneration, his speed up that he gives on his ultimate, the offense up that he gives on his ultimate as well, you're gonna have just 3 characters going all the time, killing everybody every single time they pop up. Punisher, Silver Sable, Hitmonkey. Now I've seen this exact team with really high stars go in there and lay the field clear, and it's always Punisher killing everybody, but Sable and Hitmonkey, they're doing some work too. I'm going to be going in here with a 3-star Sable and a 3-star Hitmonkey as soon as I'm ready, and I'll share that footage with you. But I don't think Daredevil Modern is the move here. I think he's boring outside of the game mode. He doesn't really benefit from the overpowered system at all. These are the 3 Vigilante characters that I think are the best to go in. I think digging Daredevil is a big mistake, just from like a full game perspective. All right, Villain Global. I've actually already done my Villain Global as well. These characters suck, or they're too expensive. Apocalypse costs 5, okay? Don't bring Apocalypse. He's unnecessary, he costs too much. There's gonna be much more longer lasting mutants, at least in the grand scheme of the game, that we can invest in that are not going to cost us much. So, the Orcus team, okay? The Orcus team is obviously all tech, but I've also found that they do have value in War and Crucible, especially if you try and use them on the offensive side against like B-tier defenses. They'll get through it. They're the raid team right now. They'll be replaced in the next raid tier, which is what, a year from now, probably? We just got the chaotic raids. So I really do like these four: Lady Deathstrike, Nimrod, Sentinel, and Scientist Supreme. The only character I think is non-negotiable is the Scientist Supreme, because she sets the stage for you. She's going to give you speed up right away. She's going to give the enemy defense down, offense down, and slow right away. The other three, however, I think you could easily use Omega Sentinel instead. I think Omega Sentinel is amazing with the overpowered system. All right, she also does decent heals and everything like that. If Lady Deathstrike costs 3, I would have brought Omega Sentinel instead of Lady Deathstrike. But I also think a lot of people use Lady Deathstrike on offense, and I always promote putting more resources into your offensive teams instead of your defensive teams, because it just makes the game less frustrating to be playing with the bigger weapons and letting your enemies, whatever they're going to do, right? You're not going to outspend on your defense and beat somebody who's spending on their offense. This is not going to happen. So I prefer the offensive characters. She's really good. Really great. If you want to bring the entire Orcus team, I think that's fine too. There's not too many great tech options that I'm going to be talking about moving forward, so that's fine. But there's also this 3-piece Omega Red Phoenix Force. You can see I've already done this entire team. I'm just waiting on these pieces to go into the city section. So I have my Omega Red Phoenix Force. He is 4 red stars, otherwise known as Fred, by the way. I use him in Crucible. I've been looking for places to use my mutant gear because I got a lot of mutant gear from the shop, and we're about to get payout for a mutant leader reward in like, what, 4 days or something like that. So this is the team that I'm going to go with. Omega Red Phoenix Force costs 2 less pieces than Apocalypse. I've seen these 4 characters go into the mode, and nobody else gets a turn. Even the Omega Red, he just stands there looking real pretty. The Orcus team, they just kill everything immediately. This section is not hard. There's no final boss in this section. There's no, like, null-style boss. So this is a very easy section. I wouldn't overthink it too much. And I'm looking at the global villains, and I would be interested in Taskmaster once the Thunderbolts reworks comes, but I'm not sure if his mode-specific things are going to be active. I'm not sure, right? Ghost, she's a little bit too expensive. She's a 4-piece, so I don't really consider her. And then, like, what else do we have option here? We have, I guess, Cabal members, but they're falling off. They're still great in War, they're still great in Crucible, but they are on the verge of falling off. We have Agatha on the Night Stalker team. Great pick, but she's Mystic. I have so many other Mystic characters that I would rather take in the later sections. Zombie Scarlet Witch, as a bio character, I think is another viable option instead of Omega Red Phoenix Force. I feel like your 5th slot can be whoever you want if you're not going to take the full Orcus team. But bringing 4 Orcus members with Scientist Supreme being 1 for sure, that's the right play. Alright, Villain Cosmic. I've already done Thanos Endgame. He was great in Arena. He's great on defense. I did him for overpowered reasons. And I would highly suggest bringing him. The problem is, we are using so many skill characters. This is like the weirdest Dark Dimension ever, right? And it is his Dark Dimension, just more steps, a different UI. We're using so many skill characters. We're using so many skill characters compared to other Dark Dimensions in the past. But yeah, Endgame Thanos is huge. I like the Annihilators as well. Just looking at the rest of the characters, there's some great ones, right? But they're expensive. And then there's some stinkers that are just like Kree, Black Order, Minerva, Ravagers. Like, it falls off the cliff very fast. I like these 3 Annihilators. I use them everywhere. They all benefit from overpowered. Having to face a Gore in Arena who has overpowered on you actually caught me off guard. Like, it was killing my old man Logan really fast, or pushing him so low that a mind control from my own Odin finished him off. So, like, Gore is actually really good, and I've had a Gladiator solo my Immortal X-Men team in Crucible. After I finessed the rest of his team, he one-shot me with overpower. It's stupid. So, I've seen them be used in the game mode. I think they're fantastic, and I think they're great outside of the game mode. So I definitely am going to be bringing these 3. So these 4 and 5. I'm doing Null. Null is a Mystic character, but he costs 3-piece. I'm doing Null instead of Mephisto. Like Apocalypse, I would love to have them overpowered. Amazing. Very, very strong. But 5-piece cost is expensive. Mephisto will probably be my first character that I bring to Gear Tier 20 after Professor X, once I'm done this chase for Professor X. Because he's very impactful, even though he's got the old stats, he's amazingly powerful. And that overpowered, when he does ult, you die. You're just dead. You're just dead. But for now, I'll bring Null instead. Null is slowly getting more and more yellow and red stars. I think we're going to get the 5th red star for him in 2 days. So he's growing very good. And I think that the Null eventually will eclipse the Mephisto. But both I want to Gear to 20 eventually. So why don't I take both of them? Well, Mystic cost is too high, right? I'm actually going to be bringing in Shadow King. Shadow King is such a versatile character. We see him, his pings, whenever one of his allies does his ultimate, is insane. It's so powerful. He's with that Astral team, which they're very, very good in War, which is the longest lifespan game mode for your teams. And they're very good in Crucible, and him as a plug and play is just great. I want Shadow King. I definitely want him to be benefiting from Overpowered, and he can hang in the nodes themselves. What I would be somewhat worried about is if you unlocked your Shadow King after, or you didn't take advantage of that store we had where his red stars were available. I would be concerned on the last node of Villain Cosmic if you have a 4 red Shadow King of him dying before he gets to rebalance and heal himself up. So if you have 4 or 5 red stars, you might want to shy away from Shadow King. 6 or 7, you'll be fine. Why is he not available for promotion? That's a good damn question. If people want to bring him here and he just doesn't get a turn in the game mode, that's trash, and I think that they should be releasing those red stars very soon. I'll get on their case about it, but if not Shadow King, then I would take a good long look at Mephisto. That would be the 5th you have to take. It'll slow you down dramatically, dramatically. But otherwise, I don't think any of these other characters survive. These all cost the same, and we're actually going to have different bio characters I'm going to suggest for the Cosmic Hero. So yeah, this would be my preferred team. Hopefully we get that Shadow King red stars out before anyone needs to make any decisions though. Alright, so let's go to the extreme difficulty. We will not fill in the city section because we already did that. Let's go to the Hero Global, which I think is the hardest section, and you should definitely 100% not bring in Old Man Logan. You cannot bring in Old Man Logan in its current state. The boss node, the Shadow King boss node, clones your Old Man Logan, and in true Scopely fashion, gives him 100% turn bar. He will immediately special, flip all the buffs on whatever other characters you brought in. He gets speed bar. His other clones, because Shadow King clones your entire team, also get 100% speed bar. They do attacks, which gets Old Man Logan speed bar. And then he does not only his special, but his ultimate before he gets to take a turn. And that's what you call great game design. Don't bring Old Man Logan until they fix that node. How can they fix that node? Very simply, give those summons 20% speed bar on spawn. Stop being ridiculous. I don't know. That was just such a anyway. Let's have the characters you should bring. As of right now, the Liberty team getting their war buffs is the team that everybody is taking and having great success with. And believe it or not, the Liberty team is probably they are a top 10 cookie cutter team in the game. Not only Crucible, 100% War. They're the best War team in the game. But in PvE modes, like Sword Satellite, when we use this team, we saw the raw strength of their stats and that Falcon passive, where whenever an enemy takes a turn, he's like, oh, by the way, my entire team now has immunity, my entire team now has speed up, the clock is ticking, if you let Captain Sam take a turn, you're dead. Liberty's really good, and they are worth the upgrades, just as far as their use everywhere in the game, but we're talking about 2 more skill characters, right? So we have 3 skill characters in the city section. We'd have 2 here. We have Endgame Thanos. We have Lilandra. That's a lot of skill characters that we're bringing. And you have to bring Lilandra, right? So I would start farming that skill gear, I guess. Besides those 4, I don't want to bring War Machine. War Machine is a 5 cost, or yeah, here he is. A 4 cost tech character. And although we're kind of done with tech at this point, it's not worth it. We also have to do Falcon, who's tech. It's just not worth it. You want to start looking at your mutants. We just haven't used enough mutants yet, right? So I am going to be bringing in Emma Frost X-Men. Her plug-and-play power is incredible. She does lots of barriers, so she's easily able to keep herself alive in this game mode. And you do have to keep everyone alive, because if you don't 3-star a node, you don't get to move on, right? So I really do like Emma Frost X-Men here. Her plug-and-play use is crazy. I don't want her getting one-shot by enemy teams having overpowered on her. That's rough. Other characters that you could consider, I would not consider anybody who's 4 cost or higher. 3 cost characters, don't do Phoenix, because once again, if she dies and goes Dark Phoenix, you don't get the 3-star completion. None of these characters are doing it for me. Nightcrawler, I don't hate the idea of Nightcrawler, but remember that once that Shadow King clones you, you'll have to deal with a Nightcrawler. I'll talk about what I'm considering doing to try and limit the amount of skill gear I need. Don't do Old Man Logan. Black Panther Shuri is unfortunately Mystic. Jean Grey, not a bad character whatsoever. I think she's actually very interesting in this post-Professor X unlock world, where Jean Grey, being a faster speed stat character than Professor X, and putting defense down out there is a very, very interesting character in trying to, beat the enemy Professor X's on offense. So I don't hate the idea of bringing Jean Grey either. Hercules, unfortunately, is Mystic, and his use is very limited. If we go down a little bit further, not Gambit, he's too power crept. Hank Pym. Hank Pym, though he is tech, only costs 2 pieces. He will give your team that sort of life rebalance, which I think is very, very nice as well. And he gives himself Safeguard. Lots of good stuff coming from Hank Pym. Not mad at that pick whatsoever. What I'm personally considering is dropping Captain Sam. If I somehow reach the Hero Global section before the Red Star milestone is done, and I can't get enough skill to do Captain Sam and Peggy Carter, I will bring Peggy over Captain Sam, and I will probably try and bring in Hank. Because I'm already have enough tech gear to, well, let me see. It says I need 62. I don't need 62. I own 38, right. So I need just a little bit more to take him off. I need 12 more of these canisters and 46 of these, and I'm done with Falcon, which means that I could conceivably, depending on what sort of pulls I get from the orbs and everything like that, I could conceivably have enough to do Hank Pym, who he disappeared. He's no longer here anymore. All right, we threw Hank Pym to the ether, apparently. He's no longer choosable. That's kind of funny. So I could conceivably get rid of Captain Sam, bring in Hank Pym, or even bring in Nightcrawler. I wouldn't like the idea. Oh, there, he's back now. I wouldn't like the idea of bringing Nightcrawler because he's that old stat character. He's kind of a playmaker now as opposed to a big influential character. Same can be said about Hank Pym, but Hank Pym has a passive that wipes away a very crucial counter. So this is something I'm considering, but I would not recommend it. I would recommend you bring in the Captain Sam. Unless, like me, you're trying to see if there's a way you can finesse this game mode to give yourself some additional red stars on Professor X. Hero Cosmic. This one is contentious. I already brought Odin, so I'm bringing Odin. I think if you bring Odin, the other 4 characters don't matter, so long as they survive until Odin gets his battlefield effect up. That's what I think. Now, there's some characters that are way better than others that I would strongly suggest. I know a lot of people are coming in here with Doctor Strange, and they're getting it done. He's 2 costs, which is great. He's Mystic, so I don't plan on bringing him myself. I think I'm gonna be tapped after doing Null. I think I'm gonna be finishing my Cosmic villain requirements at the same time I finish my Cosmic Hero requirements, because I'm bringing in Miss Marvel Classic and Medusa. We have 2 more bio characters that are 3-piece. I struggled to find bio characters. We have the 2 Annihilators, we have Patriot, and then I have these 2. So these are my 5 bio characters. If I take these guys out for Starjammers, like, yeah, I could do Groot, who's bio, but that's it. I've seen these girls in action in the Professor X Saga. I don't know why people are saying don't bring Absolute A-Force. I think that's trash advice. Kahori, these 3 with the Lander and Odin, walked over all the nodes that I saw. And it wasn't very difficult. The Mr. Marvel Classic tanks everything and Odin kills everything. That was super easy. But we have another Mystic character. I'm not going to be bringing in Kahori myself. I'm instead going to be looking for yet another mutant to bring in, and that's going to be Havoc. I love Crucible. I don't love the Starjammer team in Crucible, but I love Crucible. And so I will be doing Havoc because that's going to make that team a little bit better. Havoc is also this like super annoying character on board defense. If you put him in a room adjacent to security, he has these unavoidable pings. So you put him with a mutant team, and if he's overpowered, he's like one-shotting a max build Tigra if he's got overpowered on her, right? And so he is super annoying. I've seen this team in action as well. Crushed it, walked over it, right? And this is just how I'm kind of spreading out my origin traits as much as possible, because right now I'm pretty even on all the origin traits except mutant and bio. I'm waiting for those leaderboards, and that's another thing we need to talk about. Oh god, we're currently having a mutant leaderboard, right? So we would have then had a mystic, a skill, a tech, and now a mutant leaderboard, but we haven't had a bio leaderboard. I don't know if the bio leaderboard is going to happen within these 20 days. I think it will, because if this ends in 4, that's 16 days left over. It's like every 2 weeks we get like a leaderboard payout, is my understanding. So I think we'll get the bio leaderboard payout, if there is one coming in the future, with like 2 days left to spare. But if you're not spending money, there's no shot you're getting this like 7 red star Professor X. It's just not happening. I think if you didn't gear your Odin like I did, didn't gear your Leland or your Endgame Thanos like I did, you could probably conceivably get up to 5-star. Conceivably. Being like very engaged, pushing those leaderboards as much as possible. Conceivable, but also not like guaranteed. I think the 4-star is probably guaranteed, and I'm going to be curious how Scopely handles this. Like, are they really going to allow people to unlock Professor X 6 months from now and have 0 red stars? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? For Odin, Steven brought this up earlier. For the Odin unlock, they kind of caved after the event was over, and they just gave everybody 4 red stars on Odin. I think. It was 4 or 5. If they do the same for Professor X, then that's good. And all this, like, FOMO race planning, trash. But I'd be happier for the community if that is trash, and I just look like an idiot, but I still get through it faster, so I still benefit from it. But yeah, guys, that is my plan for my characters for Professor X. If you want to see how my progress is, what you'd have to do is go to your Heroic tab, hit this, there's a drop-down button right here, see the amount of materials I need. Let me zoom in on it for you. So I still need a lot of Catalysts, a lot of Mystic Gear, 130, 126, that's because it's doing Null as well as Oath. So yeah, I need a lot of Mystic Gear to get those sections done. Skill, not so bad, because there's only 1 skill character on this that is still needed. And then we have a lot of Bio Gear, but if we have Bio Leaderboard, that'll kind of solve itself. The Mutant Leaderboard is also going to solve this issue. So if you want to know how much you need, you would have to add in the total materials required on your Heroic tab and also on your Extreme tab, and just don't fill in your city, that's all. So you see, I still need, I'm going to need about 10,000 of these Catalysts total by the time we're all said and done. This mutant stuff is going to kind of solve itself after this leaderboard, but then, oh my god, I'm going to need all this tech gear again. And I guess, yeah, you have to add it to what I need. Oh my god, it's so much, sorry, not tech gear, skill gear. So much skill gear is needed for this. Ugh. Ugh, at least I don't need any Mystic Gear for these 2 sections. Oh my god. Alright guys, let me know how your Professor X chase is going. Let me know if you like or disagree with my picks here. If you think my reasoning is off, I'm kind of basing it on a bunch of things. Are they proven to work in the mode? Will I benefit from them having overpowered on my enemies in PvP modes? Which I know is a disgusting thing to take into consideration, but it's the world we live in. Overpower's not going anywhere, unfortunately. I wish it was. And 3, like, what is the life longevity of these teams? Liberty doesn't feel great to bring in, but they're a war team and they're going to live for a very long time. And to end this video, I will say, I've asked the developers what's happening with the Thunderbolts team. Will the Thunderbolts team have their abilities active the same way Liberty does and the same way Vigilance does? If you go into the JSON and the data mines, what was kind of revealed is that Global Hero has war stuff active, and the city section has vigilante stuff active. I think Scopely can actually snatch a big win here if they say every team since Liberty is going to have all their mode stuff active in the Professor X Saga. So like, if they release a new Sinister 6 team, I'm not stuck doing vigilante. I can be like, oh, I'll use the new Sinister 6 on the city instead, because I like those characters better. Same thing with Global Hero. Maybe I want to bring in Hyperion, Snowbird, and Victoria Han. right? Maybe I would rather do them because, hey, that's a raid team. That's much more beneficial for me as a PvE player. And they also are good in war as well. Not as good as Liberty, but they're going to be good, right? So I think Scopely, if you're watching this, you should definitely snatch that W. It's not a hard one to take. You can take a couple wins here and there. You don't got to be the king of L's. All right, guys. Let me know what you think about this video. If you liked, please make sure you leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. But for now, stay happy, stay healthy, have yourselves a wonderful day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.